look at the book of Genesis, in chapter 1, in verse 2, it tells us that the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. That is the Holy Spirit. That is how God is everywhere, through the Holy Spirit. The Spirit lives in the spiritual sense and can go anywhere all the time. And we see that Spirit in the book of Exodus, in the Passover. Moses parted the Red Sea. And we see the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, like a pillar of fire at night, giving light, just like Jesus is the light, and by a cloud during the day so that they can see it. And in other times we see in the Old Testament where the Spirit is there, and it just says the Spirit of God. When we get into the New Testament, the first time we see the Spirit of God in the Holy Spirit is when Jesus was baptized, and the Spirit came down and looked like a dove. It came down on top of Jesus and filled Jesus with the Holy Spirit. And then in John chapter 14, we see Jesus give us a promise. And Jesus says, "If you love me, keep my commands, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate." An advocate's just somebody who stands in place for you, kind of like if you don't want to do something or talk to somebody, mommy or daddy will stand in front and be an advocate for you. That's what the Holy Spirit does. He will be an advocate. He will help you that way, and he will help you and be with you forever. Jesus here calls him the Spirit of truth. And sadly, it says that the world cannot accept him because it neither sees him or knows him. But you know him, for he lives in you and will be with you. And so the Holy Spirit, Jesus tells the Holy Spirit can live within us. And that Holy Spirit lives within us when we believe that Jesus died on the cross for us and on the third day rose again. Just like the Easter story and the Passover story, that Jesus died and was resurrected for us. When you believe that, the Holy Spirit comes and lives inside you. And then we get into Acts, just after all the Gospels. And in chapter 2, it tells us the Holy Spirit comes like a rushing mighty wind into a meeting they were having. And here is where Peter says, when he's talking about what just happened to him, when the wind came and they all had the Holy Spirit, that in the last days, God says, "I will pour out my Spirit on all people." And that's from an Old Testament book called Joel, which was telling about the future, and that came true on that day. And then we see in other places throughout the New Testament where it says, "Do you not know that you are the temple of the Holy Spirit?" So everybody has the potential to be the temple of the Holy Spirit if they believe in Jesus. If they believe what he did for us when he died on the cross and was buried and resurrected on the third day. If you believe that, then the Holy Spirit will come and live in you. And the Holy Spirit's going to help you and teach you things and have you ask questions to learn things. And I believe the Holy Spirit in you is having you ask these questions to me so that I can make some videos and help other people. that have questions that they're afraid to ask. So thank you for asking these questions. They're very deep questions and very, very much thought-provoking. But that's how God is everywhere. He sends his Holy Spirit out, which is part of God, and tells everyone you can have the Holy Spirit if you just believe what my son did for you. And it's kind of that simple. The Holy Spirit watches out for everything. So just remember, that's how God is everywhere. He's everywhere through his Holy Spirit. And his Holy Spirit is a helper, and he helps you and gives you comfort and peace in all things, just for believing in Jesus and what he did for us. So thank you for the question. Keep asking the questions, because I believe the Holy Spirit is working through you, giving you questions to ask me so that I can make a video and help other people that are afraid to ask questions. So with that said, I love you. Have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.